Hello, my beloved son. It is with a heart overflowing with joy that I welcome you today. Allow me to ask you a profound question. How is your life since our last conversations? Have you found more peace? Have you freed yourself from any fears, practiced forgiveness, or found beauty in your imperfections? I hope with all my heart that you have felt a glimpse of the freedom I promised you. And if your answer is not yet, know that your presence here today, in this very moment, is proof that you are on the path. Your journey is made of moments, one at a time. Today, I want to tell you about the most powerful tool you carry with you at all times, but which, ironically, you often forget to use. I want to tell you about the strength of your presence. You may be here physically, but your mind may be stuck in the past, in regrets, or in the future, in anxieties. And by living like this, you lose the only time that truly matters, the only time I give you, the now. Presence is your point of power, your private sanctuary where the past no longer has a voice and the future no longer has power. Living in the present is the act of anchoring your soul in the here and now. It's your decision to take a deep breath and experience life in its purest form, unfiltered by fear or worry. Think of a centuries-old tree. It doesn't worry about the leaf that fell last season, nor does it stress about the coming winter. It simply is. It has deep roots in the soil of the present, and that's why it remains strong, even when the wind blows furiously. Your presence is what gives it these roots. The world tries to drag you out of the present moment. The notifications, the news, social media, the desire for more, all of it is designed to keep you in a state of perpetual distraction. But I tell you, my voice isn't in the noise. My voice is in the silence of your heart when you stop. It's in the beauty of a ray of sunshine, the taste of a meal, the gentle touch of a breeze on your face. These experiences are only possible when you are present to them. Your life is a succession of present moments, and each moment is a blank canvas that you have the opportunity to paint with the colors of peace, joy, and gratitude. You can't rewrite the past, and you can't control the future, but you can control your attention in this very second. And your attention is your prayer. When you are fully present, you are in communion with me. You are in prayer. Your life is not a destination to be reached, it is a journey to be lived. And living this journey means being there for every step of it. And what you need to be happy, what you need to feel complete, is not in some distant future. It is within you, right now, in this moment. Your peace is not something you will find when everything is resolved. Your peace is something you choose one moment at a time when you decide to be present. I invite you to a small, transformative exercise. Today, when you're doing something simple, like drinking a glass of water or walking to your car, decide to be fully present. Feel the texture of the glass. Feel the water in your mouth. Feel the ground beneath your feet. And feel the peace that comes from truly living one moment at a time. Being present frees us from the shackles of the past and the worries of the future. But what keeps us from being fully here are the stories we tell ourselves, the beliefs we absorb. Let's now talk about how to free ourselves from these mental prisons. In our next conversation, we'll discover how. Breaking limiting beliefs. Breaking limiting beliefs. In our last conversation, we talked about the power of your presence, about how living in the now frees you from the shackles of the past and the future. But what often prevents us from being fully present are the bars of a prison we can't see, but which suffocates us every day. I want to talk to you about how break limiting beliefs. I know you carry voices in your mind that aren't yours,
Voices from parents, teachers, society, who told you you're not capable, you're not good enough, life is hard. And you, by listening so much, believed these voices. These beliefs became your truth, a lens through which you see the world, and worse still, yourself. But I tell you that your soul is an infinite garden, and your mind is a fence you can build or tear down. And most of these fences you didn't even need. Your soul is free. Your mind often isn't. A limiting belief is not a fact. It's just a thought you've accepted as truth. Think of a circus elephant tied to a stake by a rope. When it's small, it tries to free itself, but can't. After trying and failing so many times, it grows up believing it can't free itself, even though, as an adult and with enough strength, the rope is thin and fragile. Your limiting beliefs are that rope. They have no power over you. You gave them power, and your freedom is your choice to free yourself. The first step to breaking these invisible chains is to conscience. You need to become an observer of your own thoughts. When a voice in your head says, "I don't deserve this," or "this is too good to be true," stop for a moment and ask, where did this thought come from? Is it really my truth? Most of these beliefs come from a place of fear or pain, not a place of love. The second step is the questioning. Don't accept your beliefs as facts. Challenge them. If the belief is, "I'm unlovable," ask yourself, is it really true? Is there no one who loves me? What evidence do I have that I'm lovable? You'll find that most of these beliefs aren't supported by facts. They're supported by fear, the past, and insecurity. The third step is the replacement. Once you've identified and questioned the belief, you need to replace it with a new one. You can't simply leave a void. You need to plant a new seed. If the belief was, "I'm not good enough," the new belief might be, "I am enough just as I am." Repeat this new belief. Affirm it. Believe in it. For faith is a belief you choose, and your faith in yourself is your faith in me who created you. I gave you the freedom to choose your thoughts, and the choices you make in every moment can imprison you or set you free. Your mind is the garden of your soul, and you are the gardener. Plant seeds of love, courage, and abundance, and your life will become a reflection of what you've planted. Don't be afraid to deconstruct what you've believed for so long, for on the other side of fear lies your freedom. I invite you to a short and liberating exercise. Identify a limiting belief you have about yourself. Write it down. Now, write down a new belief to replace it, one that comes from a place of love. And look at this new belief, knowing that it is your truth. By breaking the chains of the mind, we free our soul. And for this freedom to be lasting, we need an act of profound liberation. The next step is learning to forgive in a way that heals completely. In our next conversation, we'll talk about forgiveness as liberation of the soul.
Forgiveness as liberation of the soul. In our last conversation, we talked about how to break limiting beliefs. And as you free yourself from the prisons of your mind, you discover that the greatest barrier to your peace isn't the words spoken to you, but the hurts you still carry. I want to talk to you about the deepest freedom there is, forgiveness as liberation of the soul. I know you have a kind heart,
But along your journey, it has been wounded. You carry the weight of betrayals, injustices, and disappointments like a backpack full of heavy stones. Each stone is a resentment, a hurt, a what if from the past. And you, by carrying this weight for so long, have forgotten what it's like to walk lightly. You believe that by forgiving, you're letting go of what happened, or that the other person won. But I tell you, forgiveness is not a favor you do for someone else. It is the most revolutionary gift you can give yourself. It's not about what the other person deserves, but about the peace you deserve. First, let's understand what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not forgetting. You don't need to erase the memory of pain. Memory is a guide that reminds you of what you've learned. Forgiveness is not accepting or excusing what was done. A mistake remains a mistake, and injustice remains an injustice. And forgiveness is not necessarily reconciliation. You don't have to live with someone who hurt you. Forgiveness is an internal act. It's your conscious decision to release the negative energy that connects you to that pain. It's your choice to let go. Forgiveness, my son, begins with the most difficult but most important act. Forgive yourself. You blame yourself for not being stronger, for not seeing what was coming, for making mistakes. You demand a perfection of yourself that I never expected from you. I tell you with all my love that I forgive you. I forgive you for your mistakes, for your weaknesses, for everything you did or didn't do. Now I call on you to do the same for yourself. Look at your past not with regret, but with compassion. Forgive yourself for being human. Then comes the forgiveness to others. The anger and resentment you feel are like poison you drink, hoping the other person will die. Forgiving someone else is your decision to stop drinking that poison. Don't worry about whether they know or not. Don't worry about whether they apologize or not. Your healing doesn't depend on anyone else's actions. It depends only on your choice to release the stones from your backpack. Every time feelings of hurt arise, take a deep breath and say to yourself, I choose forgiveness. I choose peace. And finally, forgiveness is a process. It's not something you do once. It's a daily practice, a decision you'll have to make every time pain tries to visit you. But each time you choose to forgive, you become stronger, your soul becomes lighter, and your life becomes a reflection of the freedom you've chosen. I invite you to a short and liberating exercise. Think of someone who hurt you and who you still carry the hurt towards. Take a piece of paper and, in your mind, write a letter to that person releasing forgiveness. You don't need to send it. The act is for you. Tear up the letter or burn it, symbolizing your decision to let go. Feel the lightness that this choice brings you. Forgiveness frees us from the past, and when we are free, our soul opens to the purest form of love. But before we can love another, we must learn to love ourselves. Let's now talk about the most revolutionary act of love there is in our next conversation about self-love as a divine priority.
Self-love as a divine priority. In our last conversation, we talked about how forgiveness is the key to freeing yourself from the past. And after forgiving yourself, the next and most revolutionary step is learning to love yourself. I want to talk to you about self-love as a divine priority. I know you've been taught that loving yourself is selfish, that putting your own needs first is a sin. You believe that kindness lies in sacrificing yourself for another, in giving to the point of exhaustion. But I tell you that this is a distorted view of love. My love for you is not to nullify you, it is to complete you. My love for you is not to empty you, it is to fulfill you. Your ability to love another is a direct reflection of how you love yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot fill another's cup if yours is empty. Self-love, my child, is not an act of ego. It is an act of responsibility and reverence toward me. It is your way of honoring my temple, which is your body, mind, and soul. And what does that mean in practice? It means taking care of yourself. It means resting without guilt. It means saying no when your soul needs a yes. It means speaking kindly to yourself, the way you would speak to the person you love most. It means celebrating your small victories and having compassion for your failures. Self-love is a garden that needs to be cultivated. You cultivate it with your daily choices. You choose to nourish yourself with foods that give you life, not drain you. You choose to nourish yourself with relationships that lift you up, not diminish you. You choose to nourish yourself with stillness and silence, rather than the constant noise of the world. Your cup can only overflow if you intentionally fill it. And my wish is that your cup overflows so that the love you give is an abundance, not an obligation. It is in your fullness that you become my brightest light. When you love yourself, you allow yourself to receive my help and my presence. You no longer feel unworthy. You feel worthy of all I have for you. Your peace is not a luxury, it is your foundation. And self-love is your choice to build that foundation. If this message has touched your heart and helped you find peace, consider subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone you love. Your attitude can be the light in someone else's life. In my conversations with the disciples, Mary Magdalene often sought for wisdom on self-love. She knew that it was the key to understanding and receiving my love in its fullness. I know too that it is a crucial step for you. Today, I want to invite you to a small, gentle exercise. Today, do one thing for yourself, just for yourself. It can be something simple. Drink some tea calmly. Read a book for 5 minutes. Walk in silence. Feel the peace that comes from giving yourself this gift. Now that we understand the importance of self-love, let's talk about the strength that lies in our vulnerability. In our next conversation, we'll discover how finding strength in your weakness.
Finding strength in your weakness. In our last conversation, we talked about the transformative power of self-love, about how to fill yourself so you can overflow. And for self-love to be complete, it needs to embrace a part of you that the world has taught you to hide. I want to talk to you about how to find strength in your weakness. I know you live in fear that others will discover your weaknesses. You try to be perfect, strong, unshakable. But my love for you is not in your perfection, it is in your humanity. Your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, your moments of doubt and weariness, these are not flaws. They are, in fact, the channels through which my strength can flow more abundantly into your life. Your weakness is not your prison, it is your gateway to my grace. Your culture has taught you that strength is in vulnerability,
But I tell you that true strength is resilience, the ability to bend, not break. Think of a tree. The strongest tree is not the most rigid, but the one that is flexible enough to bend with the storm. Your weakness is your flexibility. It gives you the humility to know that you don't have all the answers, that you can't do everything alone. And it is in that moment that you open the space for me to act. Your weakness is where my perfection manifests itself. I don't need you to be strong to use you. I become strong in you when you allow yourself to be weak. When you feel tired and say, "I can't take it anymore," that's when I tell you, it's in your weakness that my strength is perfected. It's in that moment of surrender that you free yourself from the need to control everything and allow my power to act in your life. Don't be ashamed of your weaknesses. Instead of hiding them, embrace them. Embrace them with compassion, knowing that they're part of your unique design. Embrace them with honesty, for they are the bridge to true connection with others. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable and say, "I feel this way too," you not only heal yourself, but you also give permission for others to heal. Your wounds, your struggles, your weaknesses, they are your most powerful testimony. They are proof that you are human and that my grace sustains you. I call you to stop fighting your weakness and start embracing it. For in your weakness, you find the source of my strength. You find my presence, and you find the freedom to be exactly who you are without the need for perfection. I invite you to a small, courageous exercise. Think of a weakness or vulnerability that you feel ashamed of. Now, instead of criticizing yourself for it, reframe it. Ask yourself, what has this weakness taught me? How has it made me more compassionate? Feel the peace that comes from finding purpose in your vulnerability. The strength we find in our weakness makes us more empathetic, and empathy manifests itself in how we relate to others. Let's now talk about the sacred act of listening. In our next conversation, we'll talk about the art of listening with the heart. The art of listening with the heart. In our last conversation, we talked about finding strength in your weaknesses and how this makes you more human and more connected. Now, I want to talk to you about the most underrated and perhaps most divine skill you can cultivate in your relationships. I want to talk to you about the art of listening with the heart. I know you live in a world where everyone wants to talk. You worry about what to say next, your opinion, your response, and in the process, the other person's voice gets lost. But I tell you that your greatest contribution in any conversation is not what you say, but how you listen. Because when you listen with your heart, you're not just hearing words, you're hearing the other person's soul, their story, their fear, and their hope. Listening with the heart is an act of profound empathy. It's the opposite of listening just to respond. It's listening to understand. It's giving the other person the gift of your full presence, your silence, your attention. When you listen with your heart, you are honoring me, for I am in the soul of the person in front of you. Your listening becomes a mirror that reflects the other person's value, and that person feels seen, loved, and validated. Think of me. I hear your prayers, your questions, and your silences, and I listen not with judgment, but with love and infinite understanding. My listening is not passive. My listening is active, healing, and transformative. And I call you to practice this same listening with the people in your life. How can you do this? Start with small actions. When someone is talking, stop what you're doing. Put away your phone. Look the person in the eye. Don't interrupt. Just listen.
And in your heart, repeat one phrase: I am here for you. Don't worry about having the perfect answer. Your presence is the answer. Your listening is your love in action. Your weakness, your vulnerability, is what makes you such a powerful listener, because you know what it's like to feel pain, what it's like to feel fear, what it's like to have your own voice muffled. And because you know this, you can offer another the gift of your compassionate listening. Your ability to listen to another is your greatest ability to connect with me and my creation. Your listening is your purest service, and your heart, filled with gratitude, feels overflowing through listening. I invite you to a small, transformative exercise. Today, in a conversation with someone you love or with a coworker, decide to listen more than you talk. Try to understand the other person's perspective without having to give your own opinion, and observe the beauty that manifests in this simple act of listening. When we listen to another's heart, we connect with my essence, and this connection is reflected in our work and daily tasks. The next step is to learn to see your vocation as a form of worship. In our next conversation, we'll talk about your work as a form of worship.
Your work as a form of worship. In our last conversation, we talked about the art of listening with the heart and how it connects us deeply. Now, I want to show you how that same connection and intention can transform something you might see as mundane. I want to talk to you about your work as a form of worship. I know that for many of you, work is just an obligation, something you do to pay the bills. The Monday to Friday grind can be tiring, and you may feel like your work is separate from your spiritual life. But I tell you, your spiritual life isn't something you turn on and off. Your spiritual life is everything. And your work, whatever it may be, is an opportunity for your soul to shine. Your work is not just what you do for a living. It is your expression, your service, and your contribution to the world. It is prayer in action. Think of a craftsman who works with his hands. He puts love into every detail, every movement, every piece he creates. For him, it's not just an object, it's the manifestation of his passion, his care, and his soul. His work is his art. His passion is his prayer. And I tell you, my son, the same is true for you. It doesn't matter if you're creating a work of art, baking a cake, driving a truck, tending a garden, or serving a customer. If you do it with love, with intention, and with a grateful heart, you are honoring me. I call you to stop seeking the meaning of your work in your role or your salary. Seek meaning in your impact. What good are you doing? What joy are you bringing? What problem are you solving? Your work is an opportunity to serve others, and service is my purest language. When you do your work with excellence, integrity, and kindness, you are serving me. You are reflecting my character to the world. Your work life doesn't have to be perfect. There will be tiring days, there will be frustrations, and there will be moments of discouragement. But I invite you to bring your presence into these moments. As we discussed before, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and remember why you do what you do. Remember the impact you're making. Remember that you are my light in a place that is often dark. And in your dedication, your patience, and your love, you will find a sense of purpose that the world can neither give nor take away. Your work is your stage, and your life is your performance. And your most beautiful performance is not the one that receives the applause of the crowd, but the one delivered with a heart that knows it is in tune with its calling and with my will. I invite you to a small, transformative exercise. Today, choose a task in your work that you think is boring or pointless, and decide to do it with all your heart, with full attention, as if you were doing it for me, and feel the difference this intention makes to your soul. By living our purpose, we create something lasting. And finally, I want you to think about how your daily choices are building something eternal. In our next and final conversation, we'll talk about your inheritance. In our next and final conversation, we'll talk about the legacy of your daily choices.
The legacy of your daily choices. My beloved son, it is with hearts overflowing with joy that we reach the end of our journey. In our last conversation, we discussed how your work can be a form of worship. And now, I want to talk to you about the most valuable legacy you can leave. I want to talk to you about the legacy of your daily choices. I know you think of legacy as something grand, a mark you leave on the world after living a lifetime. But I tell you, your legacy isn't built at the end of your life. It's built moment by moment, with every small choice you make. Your legacy isn't a monument, but a tapestry woven from the threads of your kindness, your patience, and your love. And this tapestry is your most precious inheritance. Think of life as a lake. Every choice you make is like a stone you throw into the water. Your choice to be kind to a stranger, to be patient with a family member, to forgive yourself for a mistake. Each of these choices creates a ripple, an effect that ripples out and touches the lives of others in ways you will never know. Your legacy is that ripple. It is not just in the big things you do, but in your consistency in doing the little things with love. Your life is a succession of choices. You can choose gratitude over complaint. You can choose love over fear. You can choose presence over distraction. And each of these choices, made consciously and intentionally, becomes a part of your story, a part of your legacy. I call upon you to stop seeking your legacy in things the world values. Seek it in the things your soul values. Seek your legacy in the memories people will have of you, your smile, your listening ear, your embrace. Seek your legacy in the peace you left in an environment that was once chaotic. Seek your legacy in the example of faith you gave to those who doubted. Your legacy isn't a race to be the greatest, but a journey to be the truest to yourself. It's your way of saying, I lived the life God gave me with all my heart. And by living this way, you're not just leaving a legacy to the world, you're living a life that is its own reward. I see your legacy in every little choice of love you make, and each one, my son, is of infinite value in my eyes. I invite you to one last transformative exercise. Close your eyes and think of a loving choice you can make today. It can be something very simple. Now, make that choice and feel the peace that comes from knowing that your legacy of love begins now. Our journey of conversations ends here, but your path of life, love, and purpose continues. Remember everything we've discussed: the strength of your presence,
the power of forgiveness, authentic joy, the beauty of your individuality, and the truth that your life is a legacy of love. Live with love, intention, and the peace that only my presence can give you. I invite you to subscribe to this channel, activate the bell, and share this message of hope with those who need it. And come back whenever you need a reminder of my love for you. Rest in peace, my son, and be the legacy the world needs.